Hey everyone, it's Emily Waldo with Wreaths by Waldo, and today I'm going to show you how to make this giant designer over-the-top Christmas bow. Here's what you're going to need to make today's bow. Today we're using a Bowdabra to help us make our bow. You can find this at Burlap and Bling Decor, and essentially what it does is it pinches that ribbon for you. So if you have arthritis or mobility problems, or if you just don't want to hold the bow, this will hold it for you. Next, let's talk about the ribbon. You're gonna need just a bunch of different sizes of ribbons. You can see here I've got 4-inch, 4-inch, we've got some 2.5-inch, we have some 1-inch, and we have another 1-inch here. Now it's very important to note that the type of ribbon you use, it really does matter for the stiffness and the look of your bow. So you don't necessarily have to go for something that is super expensive, but I would go for something that has a great wire to it. All of these here are different ribbon selections that we have at wreathsbywaldo.com. Let's put all the ribbons to the side. The first thing you're gonna wanna do is take your Bowdabra and face it vertically. Next, you're gonna take a zip tie or some sort of pipe cleaner, floral wire, and add that into your Bowdabra. And for me, I like to start off with the 4-inch ribbon. Keep in mind that the ribbon you start with is actually gonna be your back bow. The first thing I'm gonna do is give myself a good 24 to 36-inch tail. It's probably gonna go off frame. I like my bows to be huge and over the top. You can of course shorten it for however you need. You're gonna pleat and pinch your ribbon, and you are gonna place it in your Bowdabra, just like so, and see how it holds the pinch for you. This is the most important part for working with ribbon that has pattern. You're gonna take your ribbon right here. You're gonna hold it down, and you need to give it a solid twist. Give it a 180-degree twist until you see the green side. Once you see that green side, then you can flip it right back over to make your first loop. Again, you're gonna pinch and pleat all that ribbon and place it in your Bowdabra. Look at the way that this nice ribbon holds. This is gonna be a big difference on how your bow turns out. So you don't want a ribbon that's floppy, you don't want a ribbon that's like really easy to crumple. You need something in the back that is quite rigid. Here, I'm gonna continue this process. I'm gonna hold all of my ribbon down. I'm gonna twist it 180 degrees to see that green side and flip it right back over. Pleat, place in your Bowdabra. Every time you put it in that Bowdabra, make sure you really slam it down. You want that pinch to be super, super tight. Then I'm just gonna take the ribbon and kind of push it down here, cut it, and then that's gonna be our first 2-loop bow. Boom, bow 1 complete. For me, I do like to go in with the skinnier ribbon after my 4-inch. This is just my own personal style. I like the way that it looks. So I'm gonna take my ribbon, place it into the Bowdabra, and we're gonna repeat that process. So we have a long piece of ribbon dangling down as our tail, and then you're going to twist until we see the white side, and fold. Now for me, I am not super specific on loop sizes. I personally don't really care to measure. I think it takes the fun out of bow making if you focus too much on the measurements, but that's just me. Next, I'm gonna take a long piece of this red, and I'm just gonna add a small tail. So I'm just gonna take a small piece, kind of loop it and have it poke upwards. Don't worry about it for now, but just have it poke upwards. Now I want to go in with the 2.5-inch version of this ribbon. That way we can get the same pattern, but we have some different sizes. This one's also more of a lattice shape versus this diagonal. Again, pinch, place into your Bowdabra, twist until you see that green side, fold it back over. I might do 3 or 4 loops for this one. As I do work my way up though, I will say my loops do get generally smaller. So the back loop tends to be the biggest, and the loop in the very front, whatever that may be, will probably be the smallest. I know it looks crazy right now, but just stick with me. The fluff is really what's gonna matter here. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this white velvet with red trim. And I'm just gonna do a bunch of different variations of what we've been working with. So you can do 3 loops, 2 loops, 1 tail. I don't have a set recipe on what I do. I wanted to pair in some of this red deluxe ribbon, and this is from our budget line. It's a beautiful red satin. Now, every single one of the ribbons I'm showing you tonight is a 10-yard roll from my website, so you can get multiple bows out of these. I want a little bit more of this dark red. Lots of loops in this bow. Last but not least, I do have a lot of this red velvet with a snowflake. I figure we can probably add a button or two to finish off our design. So a button is just a long piece of ribbon. This one's like 10 snowflakes long. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna flip it over, fold it down 7 or 8 inches. You're gonna pinch it, place it into your Bowdabra. And in the end, once we're done fluffing, this will actually become the new center of the bow. Now lately, I've enjoyed doubling up on my buttons, so I'm gonna take that same 2.5 inch, fold it down 7 or 8 inches, and again, add it into my Bowdabra. So this is kind of what we're working with for now. It's a huge bow. We have plenty of ribbon left over. Now, this is why you want to add your zip tie first, because we are going to cinch this bad boy. And you could see here how much ribbon we actually cinched with the Bowdabra. Now, before I fully cinch it, I do take a little piece of floral wire and I loop it through the back. That way my customer can display this after. Okay, this is what our bow looks like right now. Looks a little crazy, that's fine. The other key part of this tutorial is the fluffing, and I'm actually gonna show you from a different point of view. Now that your bow is zip tied, we need to fluff this out. And by fluff it out, I mean you're gonna take every single loop that we had made, and you are going to personally move them kind of like into a circle, right? Like I wanna have a loop kind of in every single crevice of our design. So that means sometimes you really have to yank it. Gotta be a little rough with it, which is why you wanna make sure when you twist and fold, it's gotta be a solid twist. So if it takes more time to make sure that you get a really good twist down, you're gonna wanna focus on that. Okay, after I fluffed out most of the loops, let's focus on those last 2 buttons. Take the buttons, push them towards the center, and give them a good fluff. And you can see now we have covered up the zip tie pretty successfully. Then give each loop a little bit of a fluff like that. Make sure the tails are looking the way you want. If you want, you could take all of your individual thinner ribbons and give them a bit of a curl. I kind of like the way that that looks when it's kind of curled down like that, but a big bow like this, it makes a huge statement piece on the top of a tree. It can replace a front door wreath. Like this bow's giant. This is a giant bow. I really can hardly fit it into the frame here, but that is how you make a bow with the Bowdabra. If you've never made one by hand, this is gonna be your guide on how to do it. This is like how I make my larger bows that I sell at wreathsbywaldo.com. But like I said, you can play around with your own color combinations. We've got hundreds of different ribbons to choose from. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments.